Hey guys, this is Austin back with another valuable video and piece of content that I wanted to drop on you guys on this beautiful Saturday. So, the topic that I want to speak about today is value. So, when you're in the sales process, there comes a point in time where you have to pretty much convince the prospect or the buyer to purchase your product and to use your product or services, right? So, the way we bridge the gap and get through this transition period is that we must establish our value, right? And I'm going to show you guys some ways to where you can establish your value, and it's almost impossible for the prospect to say no. And this is how we sell. This is how we teach our sales reps to sell, and we just think it's one of the best and most easiest ways to actually sell and get the sale and convince the buyer to move forward with the purchase, right? So, when we talk about the value chain fulcrum, I like to think of it as a scale. So, if you picture a scale or a seesaw, when it's completely balanced, it just sits there undisturbed. It's balanced, it's even, it's not swaying from side to side, it's just straight line, right? So, what happens is there's this there's this momentum shift once the buyer gets on the scale and once the seller gets on the scale. There's this momentum that starts to occur, and it's a delicate process. And so us as sellers and us as businesses and sales teams, what we must do, we must master this process to ensure that the buyer is on the upper end of the scale at all times. And so, what I mean by this is that we do this through establishing value. And the way we establish value is we want to do it with hard data. We want to establish value with hard data, and we want to be able to actually quantify it and back it up. So let me explain. So we have a process in our sales scripts where it's strictly designed to build value and communicate with the potential buyer that our service is valuable, and whatever they pay us for the service or product that we're offering to them, they're going to get 10 times, 5 times, 4 times as much value. So there's a saying that is very popular, and this saying is that when value is greater than price, decisions are easy. Another saying that is frequently heard is when greater when value is clear, decisions are easy. And that's exactly what you want to do. You want to use a script to where you're actually building value throughout the entire sales process, and you want to ask questions to build value. And when we say quantify the value, this is what we mean. You want to ask a series of questions so that you can quantify the value to the prospect and the potential buyer to make them arrive at the conclusion by the end of your sales presentation that, oh, we need this service. We're going to pay less than what we're going to make. We're going to pay less than what the value of it is. So we need to go ahead and move forward with this service. And so, as you think about that, when you start solving bigger problems and you get to that level, you can start charging more money for your products and services. And so, most times when prospects don't buy, a lot of times when they're actually qualified coming through your funnel, if they don't buy by the end of your presentation and they have the money, they have the need for the product, a lot of times you didn't transfer value, or you didn't build enough value in the process, or you didn't transfer trust, and you didn't transfer those things. So another thing you want to do, you want to transfer the need for the product, you want to establish urgency for the product, and you also want to build trust and rapport between the prospect and the sales team, or the prospect and the sales professional, whoever is handling the sales process or the sales appointment. So these things are necessary. And like I said, some of the ways you can build value, you want to ask, what is the average order value for the products that the seller or the prospect is selling? And then you want to put together a brief analysis. You can do this like during the actual call, or you can do it later and come back and present it to the business owner, and just show, hey, if you do X amount using our services, we're going to make you X amount of dollars, and you're only going to have to pay us X amount of dollars for us to do this. So as long as that number to where they're paying you is lower than the number that you're going to make them, then value is going to be clear and it should be a no-brainer. And so, guys, that's pretty much it for today. I just wanted you to see how you want to transition around the value spectrum and the value chain, and how it's a delicate balance. But you always want to make sure the potential buyer is very well aware of the value, and you want to transfer that to the prospect or the buyer so that they can have the confidence and the faith to actually purchase your product and move forward in the process. So here's a little bit of what that looks like. So just imagine this, right? So let's just say you have this balance seesaw, right? You want to have more value on this end, right? So let's say this is the buyer, and then actually let's go back and let's actually draw a buyer. So let's say this is the buyer, and this is the seller. Let's smile. So you wanna make sure the buyer understand that the value is there. And as the seller, that doesn't mean that you're not winning. That just means you have a good product and you're able to offer it at a price to where the seller is gonna, or the buyer will benefit greatly and will not have to expense as much money. Obviously, it's not this way all the time, but most of the time, when you're really looking for a sure way to get a deal done, establish value. Make sure the value of their product or service is higher than the amount that you're actually going to charge them. And then you should have an easy transition into your close, and you should be able to close more deals. All right, guys, that's pretty much it. If you guys are interested in having us do this process for you, whether it be appointment setting, cold calling, outreach, sales team, outsourcing, just let us know. Or if you guys would want us to teach you this process and show you how to do everything, we can do that as well. And like I said, we have all the scripts, the questions that you need to ask the buyers and the prospects when you're dealing with them, so you can actually build and quantify that value during the process and actually give them hard, concrete details and hard numbers. All right, guys, that's my time for today. Hope you guys have a beautiful Saturday. I'm out. Thanks. Bye bye.